Hey, Kinsey, and welcome back to Remember What the Lord Has Done. Today we are looking at Joshua 9, 10, and 11. Last time we were looking at the recircumcision of the Israelites. This is the next generation being circumcised because they weren't circumcised earlier in the desert when the other ones who were all died off. So we also looked at Jericho, Achan's sin, the destruction of the city of Ai, and then also the covenant renewal. Today we're going to be looking at the Gibeonite deception, a really short story, but such an awesome story of the sun standing still. The Amorite kings destroyed, the southern cities conquered, and then the northern kings conquered as well. So we'll look at all of that just in these 3 chapters here. A lot of conquering, which is pretty cool. So Joshua 9 through 11 today. Chapter 9. Now, when all the kings west of the Jordan heard about these things, those in the hill country, in the western foothills, and all along the entire coast of the Great Sea as far as Lebanon, the kings of the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, they came together to make war against Joshua and Israel. However, when the people of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, they resorted to a ruse. They went as a delegation whose donkeys were loaded with worn out sacks and old wineskins, cracked and mended. The men put on worn and patched sandals on their feet and wore old clothes. All the bread of their food supply was dry and moldy. Then they went to Joshua in the camp at Gilgal and said to him and to the men of Israel, "We have come from a distant country. Make a treaty with us." The men of Israel said to the Hivites, "But perhaps you live near us. How then can we make a treaty with you? We are your servants," they said to Joshua. But Joshua asked, "What, Joshua?" But Joshua asked, "Who are you, and where do you come from?" They answered, "Your servants have come from a very distant country because of the fame of the Lord your God. For we have heard of the reports of him, all that he did in Egypt, and all that he did to the 2 kings of the Amorites east of the Jordan, Sihon, king of Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, who reigned at Ashtaroth. And our elders and all those living in our country said to us, 'Take provisions for your journey. Go and meet them and say to them, We are your servants. Make a treaty with us. This bread of ours was warm when we packed it at home on the day that we left and came to you. But now, see how dry and moldy it is. And these wineskins that were filled were new, but see how cracked they are. And our clothes and sandals are worn out by our very long journey.' The men of Israel sampled their provisions, but did not inquire of the Lord. Then Joshua made a treaty of peace with them to let them live, and the leaders of the assembly ratified it by an oath. 3 days after they made the treaty with the Gibeonites, the Israelites heard that there were their neighbors living near them. So the Israelites set out, and on the 3rd day came to their cities, Gibeon, Kiferath, Beeroth, and Kiriath Jearim. But the Israelites did not attack them because the leaders of the assembly had sworn an oath to them by the Lord, the God of Israel. The whole assembly grumbled against the leaders, but all the leaders answered, "We have given them our oath by the Lord, the God of Israel, and we cannot touch them now. This is what we will do to them. We will let them live, so that the wrath will not fall on us for breaking the oath we swore to them." They continued, "Let them live, but let them be woodcutters and water carriers for the entire assembly." So the leader's promise to them was kept. Then Joshua summoned the Gibeonites and said, "Why did you deceive us by saying we live a long way from you, while actually you live near us? Now you are under a curse. You will never cease to serve as woodcutters and water carriers for the house of my God." They answered Joshua, "Your servants were clearly told how the Lord your God had commanded his servant Moses to give you the whole land and to wipe out all its inhabitants from before you. So we feared for our lives because of you, and that is why we did this. We are now in your hands. Do to us whatever seems good and right to you." So Joshua saved them from the Israelites, and they did not kill them. That day he made the Gibeonites woodcutters and water carriers for the community and for the altar of the Lord at the place the Lord would choose, and that is what they are to this day.
Chapter 10. Now Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, heard that Joshua had taken Ai and totally destroyed it, doing to Ai and its king as he had done to Jericho and its king, and that the people of Gibeon had made a treaty of peace with Israel and had become their allies. He and his people were very much alarmed at this, because Gibeon was an important city, like the one of the royal cities. It was larger than Ai, and all its men were good fighters. So Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, appealed to Hoham, king of Hebron, Piram, king of Jarmuth, Japhia, king of Lachish, and Debir, king of Eglon. "Come up and help me attack Gibeon," he said, "because it has made peace with Joshua and the Israelites." Then the 5 kings and the Amorites, the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon, joined forces. They moved up with all their troops and took up positions against Gibeon and attacked it. The Gibeonites then sent word to Joshua in the camp at Gilgal, "Do not abandon your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us. Help us, because all the Amorite kings from the hill country have joined forces against us." So Joshua marched up from Gilgal with his entire army, including all the best fighting men. The Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them. I have given them into your hand. Not one of them will be able to withstand you." After an all-night march from Gilgal, Joshua took them by surprise. The Lord threw them into confusion before Israel, so Joshua and the Israelites defeated them completely at Gibeon. Israel pursued them along the road going up to Beth Horon and cut them down all the way to Azekah and Makkedah. As they fled before Israel on the road down from Beth Horon to Azekah, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. The Lord hurled large hailstones down on them, and more of them died from the hail than were killed by the swords of the Israelites. On the day the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel, Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, "Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you, moon, over the valley of Ajalon." So the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself on its enemies. It is written in the book of Jashar, "The sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down about a full day." There has never been a day like it before or since, a day when the Lord listened to a human being. Surely the Lord was fighting for Israel. Then Joshua returned and all Israel to the camp at Gilgal. Didn't he listen to Moses, though? But like the rock and the water? Like when Moses struck the rock?
Yeah, but that was more disobedience. Yeah.
Now the 5 kings had fled and hidden in the cave at Makkedah. When Joshua was told that the 5 kings had been found hiding in the cave of Makkedah, he said, "Roll large rocks up on the mouth of the cave and post some men there to guard it. But don't stop. Pursue your enemies. Attack them from their rear and don't let them reach their cities, for the Lord your God has given them into your hand." So Joshua and the Israelites defeated them completely, but a few survivors managed to reach their fortified cities. The whole army then returned safely to Joshua in the camp at Makkedah, and no one uttered a word against the Israelites. Joshua said, "Open the mouth of the cave and bring those 5 kings out to me." So they brought the 5 kings out of the cave, the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon. When they had brought these kings to Joshua, he summoned all the men of Israel and said to the army commanders who had come with him, "Come here and put your feet on the necks of these kings." So they came forward and placed their feet on their necks. Joshua said to them, "Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Be strong and courageous. This is what the Lord will do to all the enemies you are going to fight." Then Joshua put the kings to death and exposed their bodies on 5 poles, and they were left hanging on the poles till the evening. At sunset, Joshua gave the order, and they took them down from the poles and threw them into the cave where they had been hiding. At the mouth of the cave, they placed large rocks where they are to this day. That day, Joshua took Makkedah. He put that city and its king to the sword and totally destroyed everyone in it. He left no survivors. And he did to the king of Makkedah as he had done to the king of Jericho. Then Joshua and all Israel with him moved on from Makkedah to Libnah and attacked it. The Lord also gave the city and its king into Israel's hands. The city and everyone in it Joshua put to the sword. He left no survivors there, and he did to its king as he had done to the king of Jericho. Then Joshua and all the Israel with him moved on from Libnah to Lachish. He took up positions against it and attacked it. The Lord gave Lachish into Israel's hands, and Joshua took it on the 2nd day. The city and everyone in it put to the sword, just as he had done to Libnah. Meanwhile, Horam, king of Gezer, had come up to help Lachish, but Joshua defeated him and his army until no survivors were left. Then Joshua and all Israel with him moved on from Lachish to Eglon, and they took up positions against it and attacked it. They captured it that same day and put it to the sword and totally destroyed everyone in it, just as they had done to Lachish. Then Joshua and all Israel Israel with him went up from Eglon to Hebron and attacked it. They took the city and put it to the sword, together with its king, its villages, and everyone in it. They left no survivors, just as Eglon. They totally destroyed it and everyone in it. Then Joshua and all Israel with him turned around and attacked Debir. They took the city, its king, and the villages, and put them to the sword. Everyone in it they totally destroyed. They left no survivors. They did to Debir and its king as they had done to Libnah and its king and to Hebron. So Joshua subdued the whole region, including the hill country, the Negev, the western foothills, and the mountain slopes, together with all their kings. He left no survivors. He totally destroyed all who breathed, just as the Lord, the God of Israel, had commanded. Joshua subdued them from Kadesh Barnea to Gaza, and from the whole region of Gishon to Gibeon. All these kings and their lands Joshua conquered in one campaign, because the Lord, the God of Israel, fought for Israel. Then Joshua returned with all Israel to the camp at Gilgal.
Chapter 11. When Jabin, king of Hazor, heard this, he sent word to Jobab, king of Madon, to the kings of Shimron and Ashkef, and to the northern kings who were in the mountains, in the Arabah south of Kinnereth, in the western foothills, and in Naphoth Dor on the west, to the Canaanites in the east and west, to the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, and Jebusites in the hill country, and to the Hivitites below Hermon in the region of Mizpah. They came out with all their troops, and a large number of horses and chariots, a huge army, as numerous as the sand on the seashore. All these kings joined forces and made camp together at the waters of Merom to fight against Israel. The Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them, because by this time tomorrow I will hand all of them over to Israel, slain. You are to hamstring their horses and burn their chariots." So Joshua and his whole army came against them suddenly at the waters of Merom and attacked them, and the Lord gave them into the hand of Israel. They defeated them and pursued them all the way to Greater Sidon and to Mizraioth Maim, and to the valley of Mizpah on the east, until no survivors were left. Joshua did to them as the Lord directed. He hamstrung their horses and burned their chariots. At that time Joshua turned back and captured Hazor and put its king to the sword. Hazor had been the head of all these kingdoms. Everyone in it they put to the sword. They totally destroyed them, not sparing anything that breathed, and he burned up Hazor itself. Joshua took all these royal cities and their kings and put them to the sword. He totally destroyed them as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded. Yet Israel did not burn any of the cities built on their mounds, except Hazor, which Joshua burned. The Israelites carried off for themselves all the plunder and livestock of these cities, but all the people they put to the sword until they completely destroyed them, not sparing anyone that breathed, as the Lord commanded his servant Moses. So Moses commanded Joshua, and Joshua did it. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord commanded Moses. So Joshua took this entire land, the hill country, all the Negev, the whole region of Goshen, the western foothills, the Arabah, and the mountains of Israel with their foothills, from Mount Halak, which rises toward Seir, to Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon below Mount Hermon. He captured all the kings and struck them down, putting them to death. Joshua waged war against all these kings for a long time. Except for the Hivitites living in Gibeon, not one city made a treaty of peace with the Israelites, who took them all in battle. For it was the Lord himself who hardened their hearts. Bless you. For it was the Lord himself who hardened their hearts to wage war against Israel, so that he might destroy them totally, exterminating them without mercy, as the Lord had commanded Moses. At that time Joshua went and destroyed the Anakites from the hill country, from Hebron, Debir, and Anab, from all the hill country of Indah, and from all the hill country of Israel. Joshua totally destroyed them and all their towns. No Anakites were left in the Israelite territory. Only in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod did any survive. So Joshua took the entire land, just as the Lord had directed Moses, and he gave it as an inheritance to Israel, according to their tribal divisions. Then the land had rest from war. I just think it's funny. I guess it's just the current vernacular. Totally destroyed, like just over and over. Which that speaks to the finality of it, I guess, and all that.
Totally.
But totally destroyed. That I think one of the things that is super interesting is that bit that your mom read about the sun standing still. What is that? 10 verse 13. So the sun stood still and the moon stopped till the nation avenged itself on its enemies, as is written in the book of Jashar. The sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down about a full day. I think about that, and
we should be actually a day ahead now.
Yeah, due to from way back then. It's like there's daylight savings, and then there's like that one day from antiquity.
Daylight savings.
That's weird. But what's crazy about that though is then it would have been impressive and amazing to see, but it's not nearly as impressive as it should be to us. To us, that should make less sense, right? If the sun is orbiting around the moon and it stops, oh, that's really interesting, and that's pretty neat. But if we know what we know now, that doesn't make any sense. That's impossible, because the Earth is spinning, it's going around the sun, And if it stops, that means we've stopped. And that means we've stopped rotating. And that means that people should be flying off. Water, animals, trees, dirt, the planet should be flying apart if we're going around the sun, but we've stopped going around the sun. And we're rotating, but we've stopped rotating. It doesn't make any sense. Everything should be completely destroyed. It's impossible.
Maybe they're just going like this.
But even that would throw
Yeah.
everything. Like, that would mess up everything. It makes no sense. And yet that should not surprise us at all.
Well, God created it. He spoke it.
That's exactly my point.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. So that's my point, is that for us, what seems so impossible shouldn't surprise us at all. I mean, I think about that, like where today you were trying to reach for your yogurt pouch, and there's no way for you to get anywhere near your yogurt pouch, much less anything higher than that.
In the pantry.
But in the pantry, yeah. But your ability to get something on the top shelf of the pantry would require a lot. It would be impossible. You'd have to go to the garage, open the door, know where the ladder is, drag the ladder up the 2 stairs into the kitchen, across the kitchen, into the pantry. You'd have to figure out how to open up the ladder and then extend the ladder, climb up the ladder and get it. And yet all of that...
Go forward 4 years.
Or go forward 4 years instantly. And all of that is infinitely more likely than what God did for them. And while I can get you your pouch or your yogurt or whatever, you cannot. It's impossible for you. It's really easy for me. That's nothing for me. But it's infinitely easier for God to have done this than it is for us to even begin to imagine how he did it. So I just thought that was really cool. So, if you got anything else?
I only saw you for 5 minutes today. It was very sad.
She was in a great mood.
That's good.
You were in a great mood.
That's good.
It was super cute. Yeah.
Joyful spirit.
Joyful spirit. Worth praying about. Let's do it. God, I thank you for Kinsey. Lord, I thank you for the things that seem impossible to her now, Lord, that you will show her more and more of who you are, that she gets to know you in a greater capacity and to a greater degree, to see that this is nothing for you, that things that are difficult are just, they're not hard for you, Lord. May she look at that and recognize and not doubt your ability or your strength, God. May she have just as much faith when praying for someone to be healed as praying for a minor inconvenience, Lord. I pray that you build that faith and help her mother and I continue to foster that. We thank you so much for this joyful spirit. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well, Kinsey, we love you. We appreciate you. We will plan on seeing you tomorrow. Have a good one.